Every individual has unique characteristics that define who they are or can become. An individual's professional behavior reveals a lot about the personality traits they possess. It is a well-known aphorism that habits do not make people, but people form habits. ENTJs are frequently the folks that exude confidence, reason, and charisma. Given enough time and resources, they will undoubtedly achieve their objectives. People with the ENTJ personality type are often the boss, and they are unyielding. People with this personality type are natural leaders. Inept and frivolous people have no place in the ENTJ's life. Steve Jobs, founder of Apple, exemplified this personality type by displaying confidence, determination, strong-headedness, and dominance. He lived from February 24, 1955 to October 5, 2011, and was known for his charismatic personality, passionate disposition, risk-taking temperament, and unconventional behavior. In Silicon Valley and around the world, he is considered to be a legend. Do you think you might have an ENTJ personality like Steve Jobs did? In this video, we will discuss 10 signs you may have an ENTJ personality. Have you always been wondering how to describe yourself? Stay tuned until the end. Sign number 1 is the most evident personality trait of the ENTJ, and you may be surprised that you never noticed it. Now, let's get started. Number 11. You are firm about what you believe. There is always a positive side to everything, and this personality feature of Steve Jobs may have helped him become the Steve Jobs we all respect, since if he had let others influence his vision, he might not have been the person we all admire. He could be haughty, shaming others who didn't agree with him or weren't on the same page as him. He embarrassed individuals in interviews on numerous occasions. He was always certain that he was correct, thus he believed that everyone who disagreed with him was utterly incorrect. ENTJs live by the mantra, my way or the highway, the majority of the time. An ENTJ does not like it when someone tries to correct them or call them out on a mistake. They are not indecisive whatsoever and believe that they are always right. Other people can either follow them or leave. Number 10. You are a visionary. Steve Jobs wanted his workers to remain hungry. By using the phrase remain hungry, he was implying that one should never be happy with what one has at the time, because there is always the opportunity to improve things. To design new goods, Steve Jobs and his team relied only on themselves and their intuition. Furthermore, he thought there is no such thing as impossible, and that just because someone else hasn't attempted it doesn't imply it can't be done. Rather, he believed that people must remain grounded and aware that they still have a lot to learn. He was a firm believer in the phrase, stay hungry, remain foolish. He coined the phrase, remain foolish, to convey to others around him that if you always believe that you are foolish enough and that there is still much to learn in life, you will always be better than the day before. This notion of not knowing much will always motivate you to learn more, and your progress will be unstoppable. Steve Jobs was never happy with his work and was always striving for something greater. Number 9. You are an innovator. Apple was the first corporation to use USB technology. Steve Jobs worked to have complete control over both hardware and software. Apple was the first to replace the 5-inch floppy disk with the 3.5-inch floppy disk, and the MacBook Air was the first to do away with the optical drive. Steve Jobs had a vision for a visual-based operating system called Xerox PARC, and he utilized the same concept to create the original Mac, albeit with improvements. We all know how Apple operates, and Steve Jobs intended to get rid of the keyboard and replace it with a multi-touch display. He desired a beautiful design and straightforward user interface, and his vision was effectively realized through his goods. He didn't like Microsoft's method of running its operating system on numerous platforms, so he made his programs only run on Apple products. Number 8. You are a charismatic and magnetic leader. Put together an inspiring and captivating personality and you get an irresistible combination. One of the good things about an ENTJ is that they don't just push and command others to achieve their goals. They motivate and encourage them too. Others want them to be their leaders, and this just makes their job simpler. They always try to motivate others to give their best in whatever they embark upon. Because of their organic leadership skills, they can very easily influence people to follow their lead. Number 7. You are unfazed by failure. Criticism doesn't bother ENTJs. Instead, they accept it in stride and work even harder than before. For Steve Jobs, it aided him in his development. Some of the best qualities of the ENTJ personality type is that they have tremendous inner strength and are unaffected by criticism. ENTJs are constantly ready to go, no matter what, and they are always focused on their objectives. The combination of Next hardware and Apple's software resulted in operating systems such as iOS, which is used on iPhones. Following his dismissal from Apple, he founded two companies, Next and Pixar. Nothing can stop an ENTJ once they know what to do and how to execute it. Number 6. You are a firm believer in achieving perfection. ENTJs build contingency plans for their contingency plans from time to time. Steve Jobs rejected the iPod prototype created by his engineers due to its weight, and when the engineers told him it was impossible to make it smaller, he threw it into a fish tank. He explained at the time that because those were air bubbles, there was space within, and he ordered his engineers to make the iPod smaller. You normally schedule your time and have backup plans in case something unexpected occurs. You like to know what to expect and have a strategy as an extroverted thinker. You prefer things to be well organized and well presented. Jobs was a firm believer in perfection, and if things didn't go as planned, he would go to any length to ensure that things met his high standards, which demanded perfection from all angles. Enjoying the video so far? Then don't forget to subscribe to the channel for more insightful psychology videos like this one. You'll only get smarter, and it's free. Number 5. You believe that everything happens for a reason. It's all about connecting the dots, in Steve Jobs' words, and the only way to accomplish something is to look backward and understand all the reasons and causes that have contributed to your success. Everything you study or learn during your life will contribute in some way to your future success. If Steve Jobs hadn't dropped out of college, he might not have taken a calligraphy class, and his computers might not have the beautiful typography they do now. All you need is faith in yourself and your abilities. He wouldn't have built Apple products if he hadn't dropped out of college. A notion that the dots will join in the future instills confidence in one's plans. Number 4. You have a strong and clear vision. Steve Jobs thought that one's inner voice should not be silenced by the opinions of others. Furthermore, when it came to his aims and vision, he was crystal clear. Steve Jobs was never enslaved by the orthodoxy of others' convictions. He knew from a young age that he wanted to accomplish something significant in his life. He believed that time was limited and that one should not squander it by living up to the expectations of others. While most individuals were busy collecting their pocket money, he was preoccupied with the idea of building a large and profitable business. After conquering the world of personal computers, tablets, phones, and other electronic devices, he had the vision to conquer the world of television by creating an easy-to-use television, but he died before achieving this aim. Number 3. You believe in secrecy. Steve Jobs was described as having restrictions or walls, as he was a firm believer in confidentiality. His designers were divided into small groups to concentrate on various aspects of their projects. People were fired without warning for disclosing company secrets to anyone outside the organization. Users of his technology were not permitted access to the design studios. His programmers were not allowed to see the goods in the company. He was in a highly competitive field, and it's likely that if he hadn't been so secretive, Apple wouldn't be what it is today. Number 2. When you're behind, you leapfrog to catch up. That was the case when Jobs created the first iMac. He concentrated on making it helpful for managing a user's images and videos, but it was behind when it came to music. PC users downloaded and swapped music before ripping and creating their CDs. The optical drive of the iMac couldn't burn CDs. He admitted, "I felt like a dope, and I was afraid we'd missed it." Because of that, he put even more focus and energy into getting his products up to speed. He worked long hours, late into the night, and on weekends to make it happen. Number 1. You don't care what other people think of you. Steve Jobs' personality is defined by strength, since he was someone who put his company at the forefront of his life. He didn't care what anyone else thought of him. He once went a few days without bathing and reasoned that if he followed a specified diet, such as eating just apples or carrots or any other specific fruit or vegetable, he would not stink. But it wasn't until his coworkers forced him to smell himself after a few days that he took action. According to California law, a car owner must have a plate on a new car within 6 months. However, Steve Jobs broke this requirement by changing his cars every 6 months. He rarely paid attention to what others had to say, and he wasn't always correct in his opinions. And if you like this video, then check out these related videos to see more. And make sure you like this video to let the algorithm know you'd like to see more videos like these.